also need is 50 grams of cacao butter. Set up on my unit. There we go. And to keep it raw, you can do it on a stove to keep it quicker, but I would just do it in a bowl. And so you just add boiling water, and then you very gradually whisk the cacao butter to melt it. So do we have the boiling water? It's on its way. Okay, excellent. So I have that ready. So I'm going to weigh up the chocolate. So I take some cacao powder.
How much water will you put?
It doesn't matter because the water's not going in it. The water's...
Oh, you're putting it around?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because in the books, a few books on how to make chocolate, they use bain marie, which is essentially like a double boiler, a pan within a pan, and you use it on the stove. But you can just do it like this, and it actually keeps it more raw, so to speak, because you're not over boiling it. So just add the water here.
I've put in about the candle.
Oh, so, yeah, that's a good idea, like a chocolate fondue. So it might take a little minute for it to start softening up.
What temperature does the butter melt at?
It melts at body temperature, so I guess around 37. It might take a little minute for that to start melting. I'm just going to weigh up cocoa butter powder rather. So. So how much do we need? Okay, 30 grams.
30 grams?
Yeah. So as you see it's starting to melt here. Probably use a bit of a bigger jug normally, so you can actually kind of whisk it up. But you want to wait till it's all melted in this beautiful kind of golden colour, which is going at the bottom.
Maybe you can break it then also.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just chop it up into smaller pieces.
Will you need any more hot water, Chloe?
I'm sorry?
Will you need any more?
Yeah, I might make some white chocolate afterwards if we have time. So. Oh yeah, that's doing it nicely.
Still
Okay, cool. That's helping. Now, I don't know if people know much about coconut oil, but you can also put this in chocolate as well. And it's actually an amazing health food. It's been a lot in the press over the few years. It's very high in saturated fat, so on first looking at the nutritional profile of this, you'd think, well, you know, saturated fat, not good, blocks arteries, causes cholesterol. But actually scientists are beginning to discover that coconut oil is very good for your health and actually lowers your cholesterol and has medium chain fatty acids and it's a kind of fat that helps you lose weight. It's quite interesting research on that. And indeed, Indian farmers fed it to their cattle to try and fatten them up. And they discovered all their cattle got really kind of anorexic looking. Now, there's still quite a few calories in it, so I wouldn't recommend going crazy, oh, this is going to make me lose lots of weight. But it's definitely something to experiment with and, you know, having a reasonable, small, not too small, but a reasonable quantity of it.
What would you put it in apart from chocolate?
You can cook with it, because one of the things about this, it remains stable. So the molecule structure, it doesn't change. So if you were to fry chicken in it, there's a lot of things around if you use olive oil or different oils, you get trans fats if you heat them to high temperature, whereas this, it stays exactly the same. So a lot of people recommend cooking with it.
Okay.
But it's a health food, like I put it in smoothies as well. And you can also use it in baking. And there's a brownie recipe which I have on the sheet, which I use it in as well.
Where does it come from? It comes from the white stuff in coconut?
Yeah, I think so. I've never. Yeah. But it's also quite good because it's slightly cheaper than cacao butter. So you can actually use it as a substitute for cacao butter. If you don't mind keeping the chocolates in the fridge, you can. You don't even need the cacao butter. You could just use coconut oil instead, melt it, and use it with the powder. Yeah, you can smell it. Pass it around. Yeah. So you can see it's beginning to melt down. It is taking a little while, but.
Yeah, I noticed.
Can you try a little bit?
Yeah, no, of course. Let me give you a little spoon. You can. Yeah.
Sorry, thanks. I'm a bit nosy, but.
Welcome to a new addiction.
Actually, Claire, I might do another thing at the same time, just so we can make lots of chocolate for everyone. Because I realise I only make a small quantity, and I.
Do you want me to do another?
Yeah, we'll just do a bowl at the same time.
Do you need another jug?
Yeah, we have. I brought one.
Oh yeah, we've got the big.
Yeah, I'm sure I brought a jug with me. Oh, there's a jug over there on the table. Yeah, exactly. Now, I actually, if anyone wants to try a chocolate thick strawberry. Yeah.
Me too, but I'm sure you
Because they were very simply made. Those,
What's the white stuff?
oh, this is lucuma. Yeah.
Where do you buy the
The coconut oil, you can buy in most health food shops. Yeah, like, you know, like Hannah's Organic. On the sheet that I have, which is you can download, I put a list of like online suppliers, organic shops where you can buy these ingredients.
in the website.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Should we just chuck that?
Yeah, put two of those in actually, yeah. Yeah, maybe a bit more actually. Or you can ask me to mix it. Oh, is it? Yeah. And actually do the time. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm like, ooh, this is like the promise. I'm like, in your Good. I just with my I didn't get any done.
Well, don't worry, there'll be lots more chocolate. Yeah, it is a bit of a slow nurturing process to get the cacao butter melted. You can do it on the stove. So it's just I was trying to protect the nutrient quality of the butter.
So what do you make? Do you have to go through this process so they actually can boil it on the stove?
Oh, you can do it on the stove as long as you don't let it start getting too hot. I think the test of it, if you can touch it, then you know it's
raw chocolate.
Yeah, still raw chocolate. It's almost getting to the point. Now, I have somewhere it's being passed around a superfood powder, which is called lucuma, which I'm going to add to the raw chocolate. Now, this lucuma is actually a pounded down Peruvian fruit that has quite a few amazing nutritional qualities to it. And it's very loved by the South Americans. Apparently the #1 ice cream flavour in Peru is lucuma flavour. Now it's got quite a mapley syrup, sweet taste to it. It's packed full of iron, vitamin B3, and magnesium. And it gives a nice kind of flavour and texture to the chocolate. I mean, it's not essential to add in, so I put on my sheet that it's optional. And when I make white chocolate, which is essentially just cacao butter melted down, I use lucuma to give it a bit more texture. Almost getting there with the cacao butter. It's kind of fighting me a little bit. It just doesn't want to melt. Now, let's start adding things. So somewhere I've got some agave, which is in here.
I think it's purple too.
Okay. And here we go. So my trusty measuring spoon. So how much of it? 1 or 2 tablespoons would add into the mixture here. I mean, you can use other sweeteners, so you could use raw honey, or if you're not too bothered about it being completely raw, just honey is also good. Yacon syrup is worth a mention because it's a sugar that's actually suitable for diabetics. It is a little bit pricey, but if you're making chocolate for diabetics, apparently cacao in itself is diabetic friendly, and you could use Yacon syrup. So I'm just breaking down the last bit of the cacao butter. Now, when you're doing this, I recommend getting every little fleck broken down, and so it's completely pure. The reason being is, well, it might look nice to have these little...
Accident. Exploding my hair. That was inevitable.
Okay, so no, as I was saying, you want to get every little fleck melted, and the reason being because they might look nice in the chocolate, but if you have little kind of bubbles of the fat just by itself, if you bite into it, it doesn't actually taste that nice. So it is important to kind of melt all those little bits down. So we're very almost there. So at this stage I can add the powder. So we'll tip that in there. And then you get a beautiful raw chocolate. And it's that easy. The next stage would be to put it into the moulds. You can actually add some amazing things to the chocolate to get different varieties. But to make a basic raw chocolate, this is it. It's something that all of us can do very easily, and actually quite quickly. So the next stage, you tip it into the moulds. You then put it into the fridge or the freezer if you really want it to be a quick process. 10 minutes in the freezer, and then you have the beautiful chocolates that look like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start passing the jug round, and you can give it a little bit more of a mix. You can pour it into the moulds. We're actually making some more, so everyone's got enough. And yeah, you just tip it in.